So, based on what I'm seeing in your model, I'm seeing where you're saying, okay, yes, the legs are looking better. I agree with you; they are looking better. So much time to get what looks like a little bit knocked out. Well, it takes time, and that's kind of an organic thing. And I'm not gonna say it won't take you some time, but I think you're going in the right direction. There are some things I think you might want to consider doing. Certain simple things like this. So, like checking out the foot. In general, our foot, cat's foot, animal foot, whatever, the outer part of the foot is usually lower than the inner part of the foot. So, if I were you, I would start making some decisions like this, like bringing this out so there's a natural slope. Also, if you want to get a bit more of a, overhang so that there's a little bit more rounding of the foot, I would take these vertices and possibly pull them out just a little bit. That way you begin to get that more rounded off, kind of a base-ish feel to it. So, but overall, I think this looks pretty good. I would say you could also do something like this where you make some decisions about the toe, because like this side feels like it might be poking out a little bit much. So you see how I'm beginning to round the foot out, and it begins to look a little bit better, because what you had before looked a little weird and kind of clunky. So just those little bit of adjustments can make a huge difference in your object. Now, the other thing you were talking about, and I will say I'm seeing some issues, you're talking about target welding and merging tools that don't seem to be helping. If what you're talking about is merging across from this side to this side, it's not going to help at this point, because again, this exists, but it's kind of virtual almost. It's one of those things where you want to really lock down what you're doing before you come over here and basically get rid of all this by going edit, delete by type, history, and when you do that, this will take the two sides and make it all one object that you can now go in and address. Because as you see right now, if I select one or the other side, it looks at them separately. So if I select over here and start working over here, it'll affect this side. But basically, one side is referencing the other side, so it's an instance. So what you're going to want to do is really get to a point that you're very happy with this before doing that. And then what we'll do is you can select the points in the middle, and you can do a merge, and you play with the threshold. So you want to make sure that all your points in the middle are as close or basically dead centered, so that when you merge, anything that is inside that threshold of 0.01 distance, anything that's closer than that, they'll get merged together. So you wouldn't have to worry about it merging, say, this point and this point. But these that are literally right up against each other pretty much, they will be merged together. So the other thing you're going to want to do is get in here and start cleaning some stuff up. So like these things where you have these little gaps, all you got to do is bring them together, and you notice they just come together. So I'm just grabbing one side and moving them in, and you can see how they begin to collapse together. Now, they haven't actually merged yet. They're just so close that all of a sudden that gap in there disappears. Now, other things I will say I'm seeing in here, you're getting some real funkiness right through here. So, this is a 5-sided polygon, which is bad. This is even worse. This is a 6-sided polygon. So no, don't do that. I would come in here and do just a little bit of work cleaning this sucker up by simply coming in here, delete that, and you can see it's already cleaning it up. Now, you're still running into some funkiness there because you have these extra vertices. So I'm just going through and selecting those, deleting those, deleting this, and delete that, and now we're all back to 4-sided polygons, and all is right with the world. Now, in terms of the mouth, you're going to have to begin to make some decisions. Certain things I would think you would hopefully be doing is stuff like this, where I'm coming in here and maybe grabbing these and that one, and bring those up some. So that, deselect these, bring that up, deselect these and bring this up even closer. Oh, did not mean to do that. See how these are going away from it a little bit? It's just going to be a matter of bring that down some, bring this down some. You're beginning to get a little bit of that Cheshire grin that you had going on. Now, beyond this, you're just going to have to start getting in here and putting some more detail in, splitting this sucker up a little bit more. I don't know that an insert edge loop is going to do what I want it to do here. Let me see. Nah, that's not doing what I want. So, what you might want to do is get in here. Yeah. I think I introduced you to the knife tool, where you can go through and do a little bit more detail work in here. So this might be a good place to use the multi-cut tool and jump right in and do a little bit of work coming around. And if you notice, I'm cutting right here in the middle. It's going to do two things for us. One, it's going to help begin to define that edge a little bit more. Let me undo that one. See? And sometimes you do get this kind of weirdness where it does funky stuff to you. So to fix that, I can try using the knife tool again. See if it's gonna work with me or hate me. Let me see. Edit. Yep. I'm going to try and use the knife tool one more time and see if it will work with me. It will not. So this is one of those times where sometimes Maya can get a little funky. And check this out. I'm going to redo, put all those good cuts back in, and this is where I'm going to go to what I refer to as the blunt force aspect, or the blunt force approach. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that, and I'm actually going to come back here and do this with it. So I have this polygon and this polygon. Easy enough. Or I have these two and I have these two. So what I can do is this. I can do edge, select that edge, and then hold shift and select that edge, and I'm actually going to extrude my edge and pull that over and up a little bit so I can kind of see the points. Check this out. This is where I'm going to then switch to vertex mode and use a tool I believe you were talking about. I'm going to use the target weld, and I'm going to go from here to there, and let me get in closer so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go from there to there, or I might not want to do it because it's like, which one are you going to? Oh. There we go. See, so now I fill that in, and if I were to smooth it, it goes back to being all nice and smooth and not doing the funkiness it was doing. So I would then switch to my move tool, grab this, bring it over a little bit so it's a little bit better aligned, and now you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go back to my edge tool and say, fine, you didn't want to cut for me before, now I am going to force you to give me what I wanted in the first place. So I'm just going to move those over a little bit. I'm going to get in nice and close. I'm going to switch to vertex mode, and then I'm going to use the target weld tool one more time. Or actually, 1, 2. Oh, got to get in super close here, and 3 more times actually. And now, by doing just that little bit of work, now when I smooth this sucker out, guess what? Clean. I'm beginning to get a nice lip. I'm beginning to get a bit of that Cheshire grin that you are going for, and this looks a lot better. Exactly what I did just now in terms of defining this a little bit more is the same thing you can do right here, going around the eye socket to clean that up. Oh, I see where you did throw a insert edge loop in, and it went only part of the way, which is where you're getting this kind of funkiness. So I would also go in here and just do a little bit of extra cleanup where you kill that, 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 and that to clean up the n-gons you had created and fix that. This you get sometimes. You can do the same thing where you like delete these polygons and then extrude and see if that fixes it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Other times there's like an extra polygon in here. That's getting a little far afield. I won't beat you up about that because that's just Maya funkiness or 3D funkiness. So I'm seeing you have this in here. So to fix this, guess what? Six-sided polygon, split across there, and or knife tool right across here, and all of a sudden four, and you're back to four-sided polygons everywhere. Life is good, and you will have a beautiful, beautiful model to work from. So those are the things I would be addressing based on what I'm seeing to begin to make this a little bit better and take it to that next level, sir.